what's up, guys? Today is April 14th, 2021. I'm your host, Dubby Dubois, and welcome to your morning cup. Today, the godfather of the Ponzi scheme passed away in federal prison. Bernie Madoff died at the age of 82 in federal prison, serving a 150-year sentence, serving 13 years of a 150-year sentence. Let's get right to it. You gotta let them tell you a little bit about Bernie if you don't know. Yeah, now you know. Here we go.
Mr. Madoff, what do you say? His name, synonymous with fraud. In 2009, Bernie Madoff pleaded guilty to what is likely the largest financial scam in history. The one-time Wizard of Wall Street ran $65 billion scheme.
Wall Street fraud who masterminded the largest Ponzi scheme in history is going to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Wall Street's biggest swindler ever, now behind bars.
A classic Ponzi scheme, Madoff used new investors' money to pay back the old ones. It was fronted through Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities, the Wall Street firm he founded in 1960 and ran until his arrest in December 2008. Madoff's victims ranged from celebrities like Kevin Bacon, Kira Sedgwick, former talk show host Larry King, and the owner of the Mets. They were international banks, companies, charities, and thousands of individual investors. Born Bernard Lawrence Madoff, he grew up in Queens, New York, and graduated from Hofstra University on Long Island. He started his small trading firm when he was 22 years old with $5,000 he saved from summer jobs and a loan from his father-in-law. And by the late 1980s, Madoff was one of the highest paid people on Wall Street, living in a penthouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side, buying yachts, cars, vacation homes, and country club memberships. By the 90s, he'd made a name for himself delivering consistent, better-than-average returns for his exclusive clients. Concerns about Madoff's business practices surfaced as early as 1999, when financial analyst Harry Markopolos complained to the Securities and Exchange Commission, but his warnings went nowhere.
I gift wrapped and delivered the largest Ponzi scheme in history to them, and somehow they couldn't be bothered to conduct a thorough and proper investigation.
Madoff's lies began to unravel in 2008 when the financial crisis triggered investors to make withdrawals from his fund. Madoff was unable to find new investors to pay off the old ones. On December 10, 2008, he told his sons, who worked in his firm as traders, that the investment fund was one big lie.
I don't know who.
In an interview with 60 Minutes, his wife Ruth described the moment he confessed.
I was kind of paralyzed. Bernie got up and said, "I'm going back to the office."
Y'all think y'all she know?
I don't remember that. They must have been.
Apologetic in any way?
Probably, yes.
Madoff's son Mark hanged himself on the second anniversary of his father's arrest. His other son, Andrew, died of cancer 4 years later. For his crimes, Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in federal prison. Even from behind bars, he insisted he did no harm.
Oh, of course he did. Accountability? Why would I take accountability?
That they made, yes, but did they lose capital? I'm confident that when this thing is all finished, very few people, if any, will lose their principal.
A quarter of the stolen money has not been returned to investors.
Okay. All right. There's a recap. Guys who, who need a little memory refreshed. There it is. Bernie lost both of his sons, Andrew and Mark. Mark killed himself. And Andrew died of cancer 4 years later. Bernie Madoff, man, they asked him if his wife, if he had if he was sorry. I mean, Bernie, even in jail, Bernie was saying he ain't do nothing. A narcissist is not going to take responsibility for his actions. Bernie had his scheme, man. He's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that shit got real, and it just got thicker and thicker. He was able to fool these people for 20 years. They had their investment money. You can get some money, Bernie will get it from someone else and pay you with it. And eventually the people on the back end, they get fucked. It's like when somebody run off with the susu. You know what I'm saying? If you know what a box is or a susu, we call it susu at work. It's the same type concept, man. All right, I'm going to take this money, I'm going to pay you off. But you already took the money you wasn't supposed to. How do you get that at the end? At the end, eventually it's going to blow up, and it did with Bernie. And Bernie, And just because he went to jail, it didn't stop there, man, you know? It didn't stop there with Bernie. After Bernie got locked up, they went after his wife, Ruth. And there it is. Ruth, the wife of Bernie Madoff, agreed to pay $594,000 in surrendering her remaining assets when she dies to settlement claims by the court-appointed trustee liquidating her husband's firm. She will pay $250,000 in cash and give up $345,000 of trust funds for 2 grandchildren. In June 2009, shortly before Bernard Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison, prosecutors reached an agreement with the Madoffs, allowing federal marshals to sell their assets while permitting Ruth to keep $2.5 million. So Ruth Madoff, yo, her kids is dead, her husband is dead, she good, she's straight. She left with the money with a couple dollars. I mean, compared to all the money, I know $2.5 million is not a couple dollars, but compared to all the money they had, that ain't shit. That's a sheet of toilet paper for Ruth. But you know, Bernie died in his white collar federal prison cell or whatever. You know, it's fucked up. I mean, his sons, one of them killed himself the year of his anniversary of his father's arrest. It's interesting, to this point, we're not going to know who knew what. You know, Bernie did protect his kids at the end, where, I know it sounds kind of crazy, like how he protected his kids. But I mean, at the end, by trying to keep them, you know, as far as whether they knew or not, the knowledge they had on the Ponzi scheme, he kept that low, because he said his sons had nothing to do with it. He told them right before he got arrested, he told his wife, even though I have a hard time believing that, but I mean, maybe not. Because, you know, when he started doing this, they probably was 15, 16, and he was really doing it. Why would he give up? Why would he give it up? Why would he tell anyone? So he probably was doing this shit by himself. But when that shame came, you know, Mark put that rope around his neck. You know, he called it quits. You know? Hey, that was his choice. But listen, that's the story. You know, Mark and Andrew with their father. That's the story of Bernie Madoff. The chapter finally comes to a close today with the death of the Godfather, the Lord of the Ponzi scheme. The first man to rob Peter to pay. Like, no one ever done it like Bernie. Okay? I mean, so for what it's worth, man, you know, he pulled it off. I mean, as long as he could. He really, you know, even the Mets were affected by this shit. You know, as you see in the video, they're talking about the Mets, you know, they were some investors along Kevin Bacon. You know, they set the Mets back for years. Met fans, yo, Bernie Madoff, huh? Met fans probably popping bottles. They hate him. Queens guy. He screwed them over. You know? Well, you know, that's the end of today's episode of Your Morning Cup. You know, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop a video. I'm going to do a little thing today, and I'm going to drop another video tonight. I might do it right now. I don't see why not, but I'm definitely going to separate it from this one. So, you know, like I say, man, you know, the sun always shines. At the end, you know, I could drop dead tomorrow, the sun's going to shine. The world ain't waiting for none of us. The world going to move on. The traffic light's going to still go from red to yellow to green. You know what I'm saying? The kids is going to go to school, you know. Well, they're just starting to, you know. But you guys know what I mean. You know what I mean. Life is going to go on, you know. You know, so keep your mind right. You don't owe nobody nothing. You know. Keep your mind right so you can have your body, you can have your spirit, you can have your soul, you can have your energy. You know, living in darkness is not the way to live. Living in sadness, living unhappy is not the way to live. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. All right? That's some real shit, man. It's coming from your boy, man. I'm definitely imperfect. So, thank you. I'll see you guys on the next cup. You know how this shit goes.